What toxic behavior has been normalized by the internet? Using social media for information instead of doing research. Expecting everyone to be perfectly aware of every single thing that's happening in the world at once. Also, not being able to make mistakes. Wishing death on others. Yeah, I wish this would die. Probably a lack of a chance for redemption. People can get fired for some one-time joke they tweeted 6 years earlier that got dug up once they were in the spotlight. They could have easily be changed in those 6 years, but their record is ruined permanently. This is the most worrying thing to me about the internet culture. That is the reason I never used my real name on the internet. Not because I am a coward, but because the internet is full of intolerant people willing to stalk you and ruin your life for one comment you made that they disliked. And then there are people who put their real picture on Reddit and set their real name as username. Those people blow my mind. Mob mentality. Couple this with bandwagoning, and we have thousands upon thousands of strangers who would hunt people down over a questionable tweet, sending death threats and making them lose their jobs. Like WEW. How pathetic and empty does someone's life have to be to send death threats over a fucking tweet? Bragging about bad mental health. Blaming your asshole behavior on * a lack of caffeine. * the phases of the moon are the alignment of the planets, stars. Greater than the phases of the moon. I'm a werewolf, please understand. Abusing a complete stranger for no good reason. Judging the whole life of a person based on a 10-second video. Similarly, subs like a meath asshole or relationships who constantly advocate cutting contact with good friends and close family over a single event as if the word consequences has never entered their mind. Aggression. Seriously, it's like most people have a stick up their ass and need to claw into somebody. Attacking someone for a belief that differs from yours. Reddit in a nutshell. Staying in a social bubble, circle jerk until opinions become worldviews and creeds which lead to violence and hate. Complete disregard for scientific facts, along with the belief that only the other side is capable of this behavior. Cherry-picking facts that are only favorable to a particular worldview is a phenomenon that transcends political boundaries. Glorification of anxiety and depression. Good cause bullying. People pestering celebrities and companies as an attempt to blackmail them into speaking on behalf of certain causes. It's pathetic and counterproductive. Cancel culture. Mental health bragging. Wishing death upon others. People thinking the earth is flat, etc. Narcissism, monsieur. Pro tip: chop your dick off instead of dating a narcissist, it will hurt less. Cancel culture. People make mistakes. I'm relieved I didn't grow up in the age of the internet. BC God knows what garbage beliefs I would have posted. Hypersensitivity and outrage. I was looking for this. Everyone feels offended and entitled to be offended. The fact that you are offended doesn't make you right. Demanding an instant reply regardless of the hour. A few people I know will text me, and if they get no reply within 5 minutes, they send a follow-up asking if I got the first one. These people will also call repeatedly until I answer. I work early hours. These people know I'm unavailable after 7 p.m. every night but just cannot respect that boundary. Granted, this has always been a thing, but I believe the constant, always-on culture of the internet has made it worse. Self-victimization for attention. Did I ask? This along with, I don't care. Quote, I don't care is a valid thing to say though. Did I ask is just fucking dumb. As if I need your permission to speak. How mental health support and awareness is only limited to anxiety and depression. Almost never about any other mental health issues like shiz, OCD, BPD, postpartum depression, psychosis. Other mental health issue is a problem or is weird. Virtue signaling, narcissism, close-mindedness, being social media dependent, witch hunting and doxing. Bashing pretty much all female-related content. Movies, shows, videos, stand up, action, etc. I mean, maybe you didn't like it, but damn. And no one ever stops them. Everyone usually piles on even. The internet can really highlight our sexist society the worst. One of the biggest pet peeves ever. Once something gets too popular, the internet suddenly hates it. Especially if it's popular among women. Black and white mentality. Something is either 100% morally pure or it's terrible and no one should look at it or even mention it, which also includes the complete lack of critical thinking. Which brings to mob mentality and the bad vice many have of just hopping on the first opinion they deem reasonable, without any kind of information to back up their choice or any reasonable justification of why their opinion is the best amongst all. Also, assuming that every opinion is valid. No, not every opinion has a sound basis in logic or fact. And some opinions that can easily be discredited by facts are not and never will be valid. I have no reason to respect any opinion that goes actively against something, a group of people just for the sake of internet peace. Belief that your opinion is as valid as the facts. This happens to all groups. But the internet makes it very easy for people with radical or fringe beliefs to connect. In the past, if you were the only racist in a small town, then it was much harder to connect with similar-minded folks. You'd either need to travel to interact with others as part of organized movements, KKK, neo-Nazis, etc., or send letters that could be easily tied back to you. With the internet, every racist on earth can find the same forum or blog and interact freely. It's not as structured as old racist movements, but it lets rhetoric spread like wildfire. Again, this isn't unique to toxic movements. We're all here instead of doing a public forum or whatever the analog equivalent of AskReddit would be XD. But it's certainly something that helps normalize that specific form of toxicity. Sorry, this kind of turned into a book. Echo chambers. By that I mean people surrounding themselves with people who share the same views for validation, rather than exposing themselves to a range of perspectives. Romanticizing mental illness. The most I see is bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, and for some reason perfectly healthy people want to have the monsieur. Being rude to people you don't know. Up yours. Joking smiley face. Extreme vocabulary. Just look around on Reddit and you'll see people use the words perfect, best, worst, always, all, and never, none, when these are not the words that should be used, or they should preface it with I believe that instead. And in addition to this, if someone proves someone else wrong, or corrects them, or points out an alternative, using destroyed, crushed, humiliated, and other similar words is just silly and clickbaity, but I see it all the freaking time. Ugh. Probably stan culture and stalking, violating the privacy of various celebrities. They are people too, despite their fame and wealth, and deserve to have their privacy respected. Based on what happened in Charlottesville a few years ago. Apparently literal Nazis monsieur also, though the verbally abusive troll subculture seems to have migrated from the internet to reality in a creepy and shocking way more generally. Extreme political polarization doesn't help with this. Nor does having a commander-in-chief who is both a symptom of the problem and a part of it. And that compounds the whole dynamic as well. Also the overly abusive woke subculture, which has taken on an oddly Maoist life of its own, seems to have moved from internet comment sections to reality in a way that seems demonstrably unhealthy. Cheating, or adultery, canceling people over some shit they said like 8+ years ago. Cheating. This. I can handle a lot of things, but I despise cheaters. As a man, I would never want to be cheated on, and therefore I will never cheat on someone I am with. Being cheating on makes you feel worthless and ashamed. If I'm unhappy in the relationship, then I would figure out a way to work it out with communication. Or cut my losses and end it. Dude, I've been fucked over by exes so much. Thanks to me no less. That at this point, I automatically just don't trust women. Hell, right now there's one that I trust. And that's my friend's mother who was there when I was suicidal. Everyone else gets the locked up, you're gonna hurt me, I know it, but I'm playing it cool now attitude, especially after trust was already broken. Shaming others for having a different stand on things. Guilty until proven innocent. Expecting strangers and others to care about your problems in life. Porn addiction. You're dead to someone if you aren't whoring yourself out just for someone else to get a euphoric dopamine high that lasts for 8 seconds. This is what I came here to say. Porn is rampant and I'm so tired of it. It's everywhere. Invading someone's privacy and thinking that it is okay to do so because you know how to. Just because you doesn't mean you should do a thing. I honestly believe that since people today always have their phone firmly planted in front of their face, they have forgotten how to really be people. With cyberbullying, black hat hacking, and other tech behaviors that make me worried that younger people are sporting sociopathic tendencies. Like being immoral and not caring about how their actions affect others. It's just sad because one day they may have to suffer the consequences of their cyberspace misdeeds. In the physical world, there will be nowhere to hide. Edit the phrases, just because you can do a thing does not mean you should do a thing. Encouragement of quitting on relationships. Or cutting people off. Your best friend has a different opinion on something? Don't talk to them anymore. Your boyfriend did something bad? Dump him. Or you find out a close friend of yours is in a Facebook group you disapprove of. Cut them off. Believe it or not, you can't always work through your differences. But you can still be friends despite them. Your life gets boring when you find yourself surrounded by only people who agree with you on everything. I wish I could upvote this more. Expecting a response once something is read. Being left unread should not be considered a dick move. Small things don't necessitate immediate responses. Thinking Snapchat, Instagram, etc. Wrong is right, right is wrong, these days on internet. Triggered by small things and not keeping it to yourself. Cyberbullying. Digging up really old stuff that a person has since apologized for and trying to use these things as a reason to hate them. Cancel them. I'm specifically thinking of the James Gunn situation. From 2 years ago now. He made some dark humor jokes 10 plus years ago. He'd since regret it and apologized, and people decided to dig it up because why not? Basically, cancel culture is stupid. Also, the idea that we should take advice from celebrities on social media on politics, social issues, etc. They're people too, yeah? But they're just so out of touch with the average person that it's like, why am I listening to them talk? Quote, thinking you can say whatever you want whenever you want without there being real-world consequences. Self-diagnosing. How many people have done 2 minutes of Googling to decide they're bipolar or depressed or whatever other mental health issue? While it can be useful to learn more about mental health, most people I see doing this embrace the idea that they're broken and not fixable. They let this internet search define them, when they might not even really have said issue. And since they already know what's supposedly wrong with them, they often don't turn to a doctor or professional for help and support. So I went to school with this girl who claimed that she had multiple personalities and she self-diagnosed herself with DID. A couple of months later, she came back and said that she didn't in fact have multiple personalities. And the personalities she thought she were just her different emotions. I shit you not. I still will think about that at least once a week. Number 1. Cheating. I'm astounded with how normalized it has become and that people are just expected to forgive and forget regularly. Number 2. Divorce. To a degree, I am happy people will leave toxic situations that they shouldn't have to put up with. But on the same note, I've seen some people leave marriages over things that could easily be worked on to be better, i.e. lack of romance. Number 3. Admiring other people. I still find it odd to follow attractive influencers based on their appearance when you're in a relationship. You wouldn't approach attractive people in person. So why keep up with their lives on the internet? Seems strange. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.